spirit to do that. So doing that means that you rather jump on us than to go and take a longer period and be able to analyze and really do the Harris later. And the same thing, this question was talking about the nuclear plant. You can't wait until that decision is made before you have to put the line in.
The decision process to look for a discharge point was a long process that required us to look at all the modeling before we actually started looking at things in Jordan Lake, things that are closest to Cary and Apex, and looking at those issues. Ultimately, we were not given support to discharge there. We continued to model downstream. We also had to continue below the water intake for Sanford, which is behind the Buckhorn Dam. There's a 5-mile limit requirement to be above drinking water supplies with wastewater discharge. So that and because of the release of the water from Jordan Lake has a very high sediment oxygen demand, because that again is sitting behind that dam, fairly wide, aerated, you have a fairly high oxygen demand, and so at that point we couldn't discharge in that segment of the Hall River. So that sort of pushed the discharge all the way to below the Buckhorn Dam. Certainly we would love to have a discharge location closer. It's very expensive to run a pipe of that size for that distance, but unfortunately, through our modeling, we did not feel like we would get the support for a discharge location from the state and criteria. Very late in the process, it was raised whether we could go to Harris Lake. We had originally gone and asked about Harris Lake earlier, because Progress Area Council Lake, they had some concerns about their operations of the power plant, and ultimately we ruled that out. But then later, as part of the last core environmental impact statement process, we did look at that again, and that's when recently we found out about some of the detailed water quality issues. We also recognized the long process of getting that interface transfer certificate. So with the approval of CORE, it was ruled that it would not be purpose in the project.
Thank you. One more question.
I'm not a political person. I don't know these things. But this map, which shows, and I think the direction, here's we're starting back from here. Here's how the map goes. Here's how the line goes. Goes across here, goes down here, continues all the way to the channel, and then the 8-year bill, correct? Okay. I have a question. Why would this not go directly down and meet here so it doesn't interfere with the difficulties that you're
There are some around the nuclear power plant. There is a zone which would not allow any direct construction within its zone, and long-term there's a proposal to raise the elevation of the lake associated with the reactors, and we would not want the pipeline service underwater. And as well as we're trying to find a route that doesn't just cut across the country everywhere, that follows some road corridors and power line corridors and those types of things. And for a combination of those reasons, that route was the one that was selected and submitted in the environmental impact statement.
I have one final question. I just want to ask anyway, they've had a long time. My question is, what is the time frame now that we need to make some decision now, and why?
We have been working on this for many years, and because of that, that's actually creating a time crunch in some ways. We've got a requirement from the state to return water based on our interbasin transfer certificate. Cary has been temporarily using some capacity in Durham County. You've heard them speak tonight that they're at a point where they need their capacity back. And lastly, Apex is pretty much at a point where they have no capacity left and need to proceed with something so they can continue with economic development. So a combination of reasons is why